hold on. Ah! That means it's going to be a great segment. Awesome, spectacular segment of fun wine today. And this is fun wine. This is a personal favorite, a PF, right? So I adore the wines from Stéphanie Fumoso and Domaine du Gour du Chaulé. Chaulé. Sorry, my French is so American. Apologies. You know, I'm just gonna basically drink for the next few minutes because I owe it to myself. I've had a very busy day and I just feel like drinking, and this wine's really fun to drink. Long story short, Gigondas, right? Which until 1971, if memory serves, was just regular old Côte de Rhône. Until everyone kind of got smart and they were like, this Gigondas stuff's like really good. And everyone's like, yeah, it is. Maybe we should give it its own appellation. And they were like, okay. And so Gigondas became an appellation. The problem is it was decades behind Châteauneuf-du-Pape. Châteauneuf was already ahead in that game. So the people in Châteauneuf were getting more money for their wine for the previous 4 or 5 decades. They had built fancier estates. They had purchased more vineyard. They were bigger, fancier, and kind of thumbed their nose at the Gigondas people. Well, it took Gigondas a little while to come along, right? They got some run in the 90s, a little bit of traction with some good producers like Saint-Duc and Brousset and some of these guys that started catching some 94s, you know, from Bob Parker in the early mid-90s. And everyone's like, tell me more about this Gigondas. And it slowly built. And then in the new millennium, we've had wineries like Saint-Damien, like Cayron, like Domaine de Bosquet, like Saint-Côme, and today's wine, the Gour de Chaulé Gigondas. Now, just like in Châteauneuf, there's a couple different stylistic camps. And I want to talk about styles. Because, for example, a wine like Saint-Damien is like this big, purpley, kind of blockbuster, super deeply fruited, hyper rich style of Gigondas. It's really a joy to drink. Domaine de Bosquet, you see a little more small barrel there. The wines are a little more modern in styling. They have their mojo. Saint-Côme has this reticence and structure built into the wine, this real modern style. And then you have Gour de Chaulé, and then you have a producer like Domaine Cayron. These wines are more of that, okay, I'll say it, more of that Rias-y style, okay? We're talking about whole cluster, heavy doses of Grenache, whole cluster, and just aging in larger, older foudre. So these wines are just packed with character and soul. Stéphanie has 3 main plots for this wine that she uses. One is Bosquet, another is Blache, Les Blaches, and then there's also the home estate, the Gour de Chaulé property. All the Grenache vines are over 50 years old, many of them probably in their 70s at this juncture. Super old vines, super great viticulture. 85% old vine Grenache here, and then about 10% Syrah and Mourvèdre, and then there's 5% of Cinsault. Cinsault, that lighter, brighter grape, that little secret weapon here. And I just love the color of this wine. It's not trying to be inky. A lot of Grenache isn't inky. Grenache usually doesn't manifest that way. A lot of Grenache more has a Pinot Noir type color profile to it, hue. And you got that right here with this wine. Sweet and savory, baby. I love these wines. This wine has structure, a really sweet old vine Grenache middle, but the outside part is all those savory garrigue, you know, the garrigue, the spice and herb characters. There's a brightness and energy to this wine that you don't see from a lot of Gigondas. I love the potency of this wine allied to its elegance. If that makes any sense at all. Probably not. No, okay. But you know what I'm talking about. This is beautiful wine, which in Gigondas we usually can't say that a lot. But this is beautiful, pretty wine. No artifice, no bells, no whistles, no barrels. Just pure, wonderful old vine Grenache. And you know, I think one of the keys here is also some of these vineyards, they can sometimes be at higher elevations. One of the things with Gigondas a few years back was that the wines weren't quite as rich in the middle of some Chateauneuf du Pape wines. Part of that was because of this elevation. They're kind of heading up the hill there, heading toward the Dontel de Montmirail, and so that's why you got a little more Syrah in the blend, although in this case not a lot, but you'll get higher toned Grenache. You'll get Grenache with this energy, this vibrancy, this Burgundian poise to it, and I absolutely adore it. So 96 points from the late great Josh Reynolds, rest in peace Josh. He nailed this one. He was always fond of this wine as well as Chiron, and I couldn't agree with him more. This is one of the top estates in Gigondas. This wine, their tradition or classic, is one of the greatest regular Gigondas wines produced. 32 bucks, 96 points. Venice, that's a big score from them. Not only that, 6 or more, $29.98. So you can get this wine for like 30 bucks. This wine at 30 bucks is bonkers. Okay, drink some, I am.